I'm gonna show y'all how to do a taper, but like it's like a mid to a low taper. First, you gotta section out the hair, make sure there's no hair in the way. Cause my little brother, he wants to trim the top after. He wants to trim out like 2 or 1 inches off the top, but we'll figure that out later. But yeah, just comb it and get the clips in to section. And now I'm gonna go in with a 3 guard, number 3, just to debulk, clean up everything. Now I get my trimmers. I usually like make the line like an upside down U to keep the hooks pretty dark, because he likes his line up dark. Now I'm gonna shave it, all the stubble under it, but make sure not to shave completely up, or else it'll just bring the taper like a little higher. Nothing much though. Then you go with your no guard open. I usually go no guard open, then 1 guard open, and then 2 guard open. I fade up. And then with the no guard closed, you tap the line. And then after, you should do the close the lever halfway, if your lever has like 6 notches where you could do it. But after the line isn't completely gone, just use your trimmer, get rid of the line. Make sure each guideline is like the same length, like width, or yeah. And then after that, you use the 1 guard open. You go up kind of like a centimeter or an inch, depending on, because everyone's head is different and the hair texture. But yeah, just make sure everything's all cleaned up, all even. You could go with the 1 closed to like kind of soften up the line. That's what I do sometimes, but like sometimes I forget. Yeah, right there I'm doing the closed. But then you could get the half guard closed and like barely tap the line, not going up too high. You could go halfway and just play with the lever. After a while, you get confident with it. You know, it gets easier and get quicker. But yeah, it's all detail work. In person, you see it more. Now I'm gonna use the 2 guard open. Always go open. With the 2 guard open, you go up the same like length or width. I don't even know what it's called, but make sure it's all cleaned up and all even. Then you use your 1.5 closed and barely tap the line. You could either go closed, tap the line, and then go halfway open and go a little higher. Just make sure not to go completely like all the way up. Then you can use the 1 guard just to detail, completely take the line away. And to blend into all the bulk, you can use a 4 guard. Just make sure to flick out so you don't dig in all the way. You kind of want to keep like a shape where like it goes in and then it flicks out at the top. And yeah, just always check your mirrors so you can see all the lines. And just detail work with like a half guard, 1 guard, trimmer. And for the C-cup, make sure you comb everything down first. And then I start at the top. You know, making it like a bossy, because it's a C cup. But yeah, take your time on this. Make it like as sharp as you can, because like a C cup can make the haircut pop up like hella. It'll make that shit like clean as fuck. But yeah, just take your time with it. Don't make it like, try to make it round, not like squared. You know? Yeah, you know. You can use the comb to kind of soften up the hair right there. It'll help make it more sharp. It'll like kind of take away the bulk, but it helps a lot. Because sometimes it looks too heavy and it just doesn't look good. You use clipper over comb to just get the little hairs that stick out. Give it the finishing touches. And on the other side, it's like just the same thing. Make sure everything is like all even. Same thing as the other side. As it, like when you begin, it's looking hard to do. Make one side look the same as the other side. But after a while, like kind of get used to it. And you just all detail work. For the back, I deep worked with like a 4 guard. And then you can use the trimmer to create the first guideline. Make sure you make it like, oh, I make mine like again like an upside down U. Just to keep the line up like really dark. Makes the taper pop a lot. And take your time on the line, because you don't want to push it up too high, or else it's gonna end up looking like a high ass taper. Then you clean it up with the shaver. Clean up all the stubble, but don't go like too high either. Keep like a little bit so like it blends in correctly with when you use the no guard open. Like right here, I'm using the no guard open, creating like an inch like length or width. On the back, you could spread your guidelines out a lot more than on the sides. Then you go closed, tap the line, and then you put it halfway, then hit the line. Just lever play until you completely take that line off. Blend it in correctly. Right here, I'm gonna use a 2 guard. Skip the 1 guard, so I can know where I'm gonna put the design, because it's looking hard to do designs when you have a lot of bulk, so you gotta like clean it all up first. And here you can use some clipper over comb just to blend to the bulk, but the rest of the blending will be done with scissors. It's a little easier for me, but if you get good at clipper over comb, that save you hella time. But yeah, they're both good, scissors and clipper over comb. Right here, I'm gonna clean up the little bulk on the sides so it won't look like it's puffing out. It'll give his head like it'll just make the shape of the haircut look cleaner. It won't look like too like bulky. Then right here, I'm just lining it up around the ear. The lineup makes the taper pop out so much. So like, yeah, it's just take your time on this too. Make sure it's crispy as fuck. Now for the design. Everyone says designs are hard, but I mean, yeah, they're hard. But just think of the trimmer as like a pencil, and just use the corners. Like really use the corners. Try not to use the whole blade. And don't make them too thick, cause if you make them too thick at first, then it'll just like mess up the whole design. Make it like kind of thin, cause after you're done with the design with the trimmer, it's just like a quick draft. Just like you're setting in the guidelines, figuring out like where everything's gonna go. But when you use the blade, it'll be like, and you can make the lines a little thicker with the blade. And then after that, you can just detail with your trimmer, like the little corners. Make the corners pop more, because sometimes the corners aren't like that crispy at first. But yeah, that's why you gotta take your time on every cut, not like rush it. Make sure that shit's like crispy. But yeah, designs are hard. You just gotta practice them. You also gotta, and then with the one guard, you just go up like, again, like an inch. Then to blend into that, you could close it, and then you can use a half guard, close, tap the line. That most of the time it does all the blending, but if not, you can go halfway. Then yeah, now I did a 2 guard, and right here I'm just, just making it sharp, detailing it, making sure that everything looks on point. Right here I'm putting shaving gel, because if you don't put shaving gel, that shit hurts. I cut a few people for not putting shaving gel. But sometimes shaving gel is bad because like it's hella slippery, so it can make the design really, really thick. You gotta like be careful, take your time on it. Had a little chip break. With the razor, make sure to always stretch the skin. Don't like stretch it like crazy, but like just enough so it won't cut him. And take your time on this part because it's hella easy to cut someone. Especially if they got like pimples on the back of their head. That shit hurts. And try not to use the whole razor either. Use kind of the corners. You gotta find hella angles to cut it, because it's pretty tricky at first. After that, you can just clean it all up. The only bad thing about shaving gel is like when you clean it up, it's all sticky. But you just comb it, put some powder on it to like dry it out. Then right here, just touch up the lineup a little more. Make sure it's all crispy. sure to take your time on this too. Make sure everything's clean. For the back, I usually get like a little strip in the middle. Like you guys can see right there. Then I cut. That's my guideline. Then I split it in half. I work on one side first. Cut it so nothing hangs over. And section again. This is like layers too. And make sure everything's blended in good. Nothing's hanging over. At first it's kind of hard, but I mean it's still hard, but it's easy. And the same thing I do on that side, I just do to the other side. You could even go like cut it in different directions, like to match the top with the bottom. But yeah, you just do the same thing on the other side. With the thinning shears, just add the finishing touches, blend it all. Make sure the taper's connected to all the bulk on the hair. That's the finished product. It's like a low to mid taper, because you like keeping the bulk everywhere. But with the design, taper with the design, with a little trim on top.